Nellie Bly was a courageous young reporter who did extraordinary undercover work, and she pioneered the field of the investigative journalist. She became most famous for her 10-day stay in a lunatic asylum. Stay tuned. The strongest aspect I see in her chart is her North Node, her life purpose, conjunct Jupiter and Scorpio, opposite both of her luminaries, her Sun and Moon, plus Pluto. So this is very powerful Scorpio energy, I would say, double or even triple Scorpio. So how will this chart play out in her life? I've saved the astrological analysis for the end for my astrology fans, so you may enjoy her life story first. But there are some clues along the way. So who was Nellie Bly? She became known as an extraordinary investigative reporter with tremendous courage and compassion, and that is how she became famous. Nellie came into the world as Elizabeth Jane Cochran. Nellie Bly was her chosen pen name. She was born on May 5th, 1864 in Cochran's Mills, Pennsylvania. Her father Michael married twice and had 10 children with his first wife Catherine and 5 more with his second wife Mary Jane, including Elizabeth. Her father was a mill worker who later became a merchant, postmaster, and associate justice at Cochran Mills. Michael died when Elizabeth was only 6 years old. Elizabeth, or Nellie, was born at a time women could not vote, and their future career options were very limited. Looking briefly at her key signatures, she had Sun and Moon both in Taurus, giving a very grounded and practical nature. She had Venus in Aries, often gifting a childlike beauty, a very compassionate Mars in Pisces, and a powerful Jupiter North Node with strong Scorpio overtones. Nellie tried to educate herself at Indiana Normal School for teacher training, but was forced to drop out due to lack of funds. But she was persistent in finding a future career for herself and landed a job at the Pittsburgh Dispatch newspaper. She soon went undercover as a poor woman at a copper cable factory to view firsthand the working conditions that women and children faced, and she was horrified to see how the children were exploited and not sent to school. Bored with the standard topics that the newspaper assigned to women, such as fashion and the arts, Nellie left the paper looking for more challenging opportunities. In 1885, she traveled to Mexico as a foreign correspondent, reporting on Mexican culture, society, and politics for 6 months. Then in 1887, she moved to New York City, and after 4 months of looking for work and quite penniless, she managed to talk her way into Joseph Pulitzer's newspaper, The New York World. It was here that Nellie volunteered to work undercover for 10 days in New York's notorious Blackwell's mental institution to uncover corruption, cruelty, and neglect. Nellie feigned her insanity at a boarding house where she was staying at and scared so many of the other boarders that the police were called to take her to the nearby courthouse. She was observed at Bellevue and then transported to Blackwell's Island and accepted as a patient at the Women's Lunatic Asylum. Nellie detailed her experiences in her book, 10 Days in a Madhouse, which brought her lasting fame because of the danger involved in her assignment. She shed light on the desperate plight of marginalized women, revealing shocking abuses, neglect, and unsanitary conditions. Patients were mistreated, ate spoiled food, and had deplorable living circumstances. Her courageous reporting sparked public outrage, leading to a grand jury investigation and important reforms in the humane treatment of the mentally ill and vulnerable populations. In 1889, in an attempt to beat the record of Phileas Fogg, the fictional character in Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days, Nellie set off on an adventurous trip around the world by boat, carriage, rickshaw, and train. Her travels and life work became the subject of numerous books, plays, and movies. She inspired the movie role of Natalie Wood in The Great Race, a lighthearted movie about a very daring young reporter. The New York World launched a contest to coincide with her trip called the Bly Guessing Match, asking readers to predict the exact time it would take her to complete her tour, with the grand prize as a trip to Europe. Nellie made a short diversion in France to meet Jules Verne, who had inspired her, and she completed the trip in just 72 days. Verne, impressed with Bly's daring, followed her progress and sent her a congratulatory telegram upon her return to America. Nellie Bly had issued in a class of female reporting that became known as Stunt-girl journalism. Nellie demonstrated that a woman's capabilities could be extraordinary, and she challenged traditional attitudes. In 1895, Bly married millionaire manufacturer Robert Seaman and retired from journalism due to her husband's advanced age. Bly was 31 and Seaman was 73. His company, Ironclad Manufacturing, made steel containers such as milk cans and boilers. Nellie became president after her husband's death. She managed the company competently, but was forced into bankruptcy due to unscrupulous employees who managed to swindle hundreds of thousands of dollars from her. In 1914, she went to Europe to seek additional financing because of the bankruptcy. In the middle of ongoing litigation, she became a foreign war correspondent just about the outbreak of World War I. So what started out as a vacation became a 5-year tour of duty and initiated her return to journalism and humanitarian work. In her later years, Nellie focused on charity work and became an advocate for unwed mothers and orphans in America. She used her column for the journal to help and find homes for hundreds of orphan children. Nellie Bly is remembered for her courage in exposing social injustice, her compassionate concern for the marginalized and vulnerable, and her pioneering work in investigative journalism. Her legacy shows that the efforts of one person really can make a difference. Okay, so let's look at Nellie Bly's keynotes in her chart. Now, we don't know her time of birth, so we are using Aries as the rising sign, and this does align beautifully with her life story. So looking at her chart, that opposition is powerful between her Sun-Moon-Pluto conjunction opposite her North Node conjunct Jupiter in Scorpio. This is a powerful Scorpio influence, and Scorpio is all about detective work, getting underneath the appearance of things to discover secrets. It is about power and the powerless, life, death, brushes with the dark side of life, and transformation. These things consumed Nellie and are very obvious in her life choices. And with those stress angles, she felt impelled to uncover justice and to transform it. She had a beautiful Moon and Sun conjunction, bringing balance between her actions and her feelings with a grounded practicality in Taurus. Her North Node conjunct Jupiter brings in travel as another component in her life, with her foreign correspondent work in Mexico, her trip around the world, and her reporting in Europe during World War I. The North Node is an intensifier and conjuncts Jupiter, another intensifier. Jupiter rules travel and foreign cultures. It is an optimistic energy, generous, and can also represent the husband in a woman's chart. Now, if Aries is in the first house, Neptune and Venus there would give her an attractiveness to others, And Neptune allowed her to play act successfully, such as when she pretended to be mad, and everyone believed her performance. Many famous performers have Neptune in the first. Her Sun, Moon, and Pluto in the second urged her to find security through her own efforts and seek financial security through Plutonian goals. This position places an emphasis on her own value as a woman and the value of other women like herself and their available resources. Her exalted Mercury in Gemini and Uranus in the third house gave her a powerful ability to communicate in unusual and groundbreaking ways. Her Saturn in the seventh house of partnership helped her to make secure long-term partnerships with men in authority and often older, such as her alliance with Joseph Pulitzer and her marriage to the elderly seaman. Then her North Node and Jupiter in the eighth house reflect her life goals and also suggest a beneficial financial marriage with a powerful, wealthy spouse, and also her inheritance of his company. Her Mars in Pisces in the 12th is compassionate and emphasizes her passion to uncover secrets, but also points to secret enemies who bankrupted her once she inherited her husband's company. Her ascendant in Aries gave her spunk and courage. Her IC in Cancer gave her compassion and a very warm heart that cared for others. Her MC in Capricorn reflects her stubborn will to succeed in all of her endeavors, and her descendant in Libra brings diplomacy and grace. And so there you go, another quite extraordinary life.